Welcome back. We are in Consulting Room 5. We are watching Dr. Sue, your host, and Dr. Frank Dodu, who is the head of Public Health Department, Ghana Police Hospital, Mr. Seth Mausi Asafo, who is a lecturer and a clinical psychologist at the University of Ghana Medical School. And in the studios, we have Mr. Walter Damien Ason, who is a certified addiction professional and a manager of a rehab center. We are going to discuss illicit drugs and their effect on mental health. So we have Walter here in the studios, we have Dr. Dodu on Zoom, and then we have Mr. Asafo on phone. Gentlemen, you are all welcome to this program this evening.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Good evening. Yeah, so Walter is here. We also have, we didn't leave you audience. We also have, we went to the street and we spoke to Ghanaians to find out how, what they understand by illicit drugs, the use of drugs, and then how it affects the human being and their mental health. And we have, we are going to show you some responses of the people on the street. Stay tuned.
Like to my own perception, not everyone take drugs due to something, but there are some people because of pressure and because of oppression, some people do take drugs. Like, I won't lie to you, I'm a victim also. I do same thing, but I'm not happy doing it. And the reason why I'm doing it is because the pressure is too much and the stress I'm going through is too much. So sometimes that's the reason why most people do take drugs, because of pressure and because of oppressions. That's why people do take drugs, due to my own perception.
But does it have any effects on you?
Yes, it has a very, very, very bad effect. Waste of life and waste of money. Drugs are not good. It's waste of life and waste of money.
I'm Steve. I don't take drugs myself, so I don't really know why people they take the drugs. I don't know.
But do you think it's having any effects when being taken?
Oh yeah. Again, they can make you start stealing and know that when it gets to a point where you don't have enough money to get drugs. Yeah, I think so. And it's obvious. Most of us know that. Yeah.
I'm Sebastian. I'm from Germany and I live in Ghana. And I think people take drugs to fight against because they're unhappy, and drugs are a way to get out of that unhappiness, to achieve a temporary solution to a permanent problem.
Indru bone no metuma ka say ebi e namfofo a yede ye ho bo mo afutu om de mo be om kwa yede om chi no etumi nya sunsuan so om so because impem bebre no say ye nyi a na yete ye ho fi ya wo fon kakra nti no ema afutu ankom no ma ka betwe ye fi indru bone ho no ye ntai nya nti namfofo no omutu ye fona se ye hu say ye ne om nam na ebebo an na yakọ but ye hu be ye ho so ne on say no indru bone na fine asay
on the effects of drug abuse, I think you can have it being physically, socially, and mentally. So I think for this physically, it affects their lungs, taking in smoking, and yeah, it can affect the lungs and some organs in the body. Yeah.
And why do you think people take drugs?
It could be from peer influence. Yeah, social influence and yeah.
Yeah, so some people take drugs to like relieve their pain. Some people are going through a lot, like we may never know, but they take drugs to like relieve their pain, to feel okay. I don't know who told them that, but that's what they feel. Yeah. But you see, the drugs we take, right, they are all normal drugs. You can take paracetamol. It's a drug, but you can abuse paracetamol. Do you understand?
So that's people's perception about drugs and how it affects the human body and mental health as a whole. So, Doctor, we have Dr. Dodu on Zoom. Dr. Dodu is a medic and also doubles as a policeman. So I'm sure today he's going to tell us a lot of things about illicit drugs. Doctor, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so doctor, when we talk about illicit drugs, what are they?
All right, so illicit drugs are, let's say, ordinary medication, let me put it that way, or let me say substances that we take into the body that will alter the body's way of function.
but we call them illicit because by the regulations we have on universal pharmaceutical or therapeutics usage, we identify some of these medications or substances whose effect may have harmful impact on the body, and so are not to be available to the general populace and used for any purpose. That is generally speaking what we call illicit drugs. So depending on how it's been rated by regulatory bodies, a chemical substance can be classified as an illicit drug.
So even I mean the usual drugs that we use for painkillers and other things could be classified as illicit drug. That's what you're saying, based on how
yeah, so it would depend. For example, tramadol is a drug that we use to control pain.
Right.
But depending on what is going to be used for and what quantities or strength we are taking it for, it can be classified as illicit.
Okay.
So it depends on what is going to be used for, what quantities or the strength we are going to use it for. That can indicate that. But some particular ones are outright kind of off the shelves.
Right.
So outrightly, they are not expected. They have their positive uses. They have their reasons for being manufactured, okay, or produced. But it is not to be in general use. So that's what makes it illicit.
Illicit. So we have Walter here in the studios. He was on, and he was a drug addict, and now he's been able to change. And you can see him handsomely sitting down. Hello, Walter. Hi. So Walter is here with us to share his experiences, when, how, and then what happened, and then he left the addictive situation. So, doctor, we would use you to guide him, and so you tell us the medical implications of what he did, and then how we can go about it, so that we would all know how it affects the body, how it affects the brain, and then our clinical psychologist will also come in to tell us the mental health implication. So, Walter, how did you start? What happened and you started taking drugs?
All right, thank you for the opportunity. If I get a question, how did I start, then it makes it look like it was actually premeditated. But honestly, you never see it coming. You know, like everybody, we enjoy alcohol once a while. We want to get high once a while, especially the youth.
Yeah, the
club, we find ourselves in situations we just want to enjoy life. You know, so for me, that's how it all started. Right? You know, initially I began experimenting it, especially the alcohol as an aperitif. You know, and over the years I've come to realize that it's the situation is progressive.
Okay.
So you start in terms of quantity and let's say frequency of use, and then it increases over time. So maybe I started experimenting alcohol as an aperitif, you know, appetizer. You get some fufu or, I mean, you want to, so you just take a little bit so you can eat well.
Yeah.
You know, and then after some time, I realized quantities were increasing, and then the other ones started coming in, like cigarettes, like marijuana, and then pills and all that. And I think situations may have called for that. For me, my family was middle class and a little bit dysfunctional at the time, you know, because my parents were most of the time not around. You know, my daddy was military, gone on peacekeeping mission. My mom had gone to get some credentials, more credentials in the university. So there were a lot of factors. You know, if you ask me how did I get into it, there's not something in particular that I can pinpoint.
Did you start yourself, or it was kind of in a peer group?
Yes, so in a peer group, you know, friends introduced me to smoking marijuana and then cigarettes and the rest. But for alcohol, I think it was a normal thing in the neighborhood and family and all that. So, I mean, alcohol was available at the time, so experimenting it wasn't so difficult, you know. So for me, that is how it started, and my life became a little bit checkered because, you know, education, I was doing well, and then...
This was at what age?
I started around the age of 12 years.
12?
Experimenting alcohol.
Doctor, how does that have effect on the human body as early as 12?
Yes, so of course, if you start that early, and it means that at that age, your cells are still growing, they are maturing, and once you get exposed to them at that early age, it means that your addiction is going to start earlier. Okay, and its impact on various organs in the body will also start very early. That's generally what happens.
But at the beginning, does it have any positive impact? What makes it progress?
Okay, so let me relate to what my brother just shared with us, and then say that he gave an accurate and typical manifestation of using most of these illicit drugs, which is that you will start, and it's usually very innocuous. When I say innocuous, it doesn't appear to be harmful. Okay, when you are starting, it doesn't appear to be harmful. It is said that nobody started to drink and hoping that it was going to be a drunkard. That's how it starts. So initially the intention is, I need something to motivate me. I need something to whip up a bit of my mood.
Yeah.
That is how it starts. So depending on which one you are using, and invariably most people start with alcohol. So yes, you start taking maybe minimal quantity, and you see that the desire to have it increase goes on. You see that what quantity you were taking initially is no longer satisfying. So you'll be craving for more.
Progress. As you double as a policeman, is it against the law, or does it have any law implications? What's the law about? Yeah.
So like I mentioned earlier, illicit is also to say illegal. So it is
illegal, illicit.
Yes. Okay. So they are used interchangeably. And what will make any particular chemical illicit is always defined by law. So there are regulatory bodies, international control treaties, and in our country there is a regulatory body that oversees the usage of any of these chemicals that we take into our body. That is the Food and Drugs Administration.
Okay.
So there are certain medications or certain chemicals have been classified as illegal. That is, so to say, it's not supposed to be owned or used by individuals.
Okay.
So as a law enforcer, definitely, if you own any of these, you are going against the requirements of the law, and for which reason, yes, you have to be reined in.
I see. So as young as age 12, young Walter started taking these drugs. Could there be any punitive measure for him?
All right, so at age 12, you are also a minor. And yes, and per our broader regulations of criminal law, a minor may not be held liable for certain offenses. It's just that you have to be processed through what will help save the situation for you, what will take you away from the potential harm that you may be putting on yourself. So that's what will be done. Of course, then as a minor, it will be expected that the state will take custody of your care, assuming your social systems are not in the position to be able to fend for you.
I see. So Walter, do you remember some of the things that you were doing that were not right as a child?
Well, so at around that age when I started experimenting, especially alcohol, you know, it was because it was at the experimental stage. Nobody really knew.
Okay.
Because it was just once a while. You know, just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
You know, like alcohol is some type of a magic potion because you've seen people drinking it and their behavior is kind of weird.
They're high. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, want to find out what alcohol does to you. And so it was not a problem until somewhere around college, SS.
Okay.
Then I started experimenting marijuana, and that is when the real problems, high school, you know.
Okay.
And that was when the real problems began to set in, you know. So it wasn't much of a problem when I started, but I realized that it had become problematic. You know, I had gotten to the stage of dependence at when I was in the university.
Okay.
You know, so that was when I couldn't just keep up, you know, because everything began to fall back for me. You know, my grades were falling as a student. You know, I couldn't keep a job at the time. You know, my finances and family life was kind of falling back and all that. So it only became a problem at the latter stage when I realized I needed help. Yes.
So how did you realize you needed help?
Yes, like I'm saying, the indication was there. It was like, you know, you cannot do anything for yourself, anything meaningful for yourself anymore, because you can't keep money because you have to spend it on drugs. You know, you can't keep a job. You know, you're always out there on the street looking for drugs, you know, and family was worried about your situation. You couldn't be really committed, keep your social commitment. So if I was doing drugs and you asked me to be here around 4 o'clock or 5, I might even turn up next week.
10 or
right. So that was how life was like.
Yeah.
Yes, that was how life was like for me. So if you are really honest and you have a conscience, after some point you realize that nothing is really working for you and you need help.
Yeah. So Dr. Dodu, so can you tell us whether somebody can just see, because getting to know that you need help is one of the solutions to it, right? You have a rehab center now.
Sure.
Yeah. So can somebody just say that enough is enough? Doctor, can somebody say that enough is enough, so I'm just going to seek for help?
I think generally it's not easy to come to that point in your life. Times it is triggered by the complications of illicit drug use. So for example, if it so happens that because you are taking these drugs, it's affected your brain function, it may manifest with certain conditions like seizures or stroke. Okay, so when these things happen, invariably, even if you will not personally request for the help, by external interventions, you may be offered help. But other than that, what really happens is because of the dependence syndrome that happens for taking these drugs, the likelihood that an individual in and of themselves would request for help is not very high. They almost always will need some support system that will push them, that will trigger that will support them to seek this help.
Okay.
And sometimes, in fact, what will go against any attempt by themselves to get help is the fact that there's what we call the withdrawal syndrome. That they are in short supply of any of what they are taking. They don't have access to it. It begins to manifest to give them more problems. So even when there's that initial attempt to want to withdraw, there will also be counter effects that will lead you back into it. So the solution or intervention is really, really, should I say, requires a concerted effort by so many other disciplines.
Did someone talk to you?
Well, a lot of people did. Almost everybody spoke to me, right? So I got into problems with the law, the police every now and then, and my parents, and the pastors, the doctors, because sometimes I would end up in the hospital because the drugs was taking a toll on my physique and everything.
Do you have a picture of, do you have, before, do you have a picture
that was a long time ago.
Long time,
so
okay.
I remember I had this picture, but I don't know how I lost it, you know.
Okay.
So that was about 11 years ago.
Okay.
You know, so I actually stopped using drugs and alcohol 11 years ago.
Okay.
And then recovery took place, and here I am today. So yes, a lot of people spoke to me, but like doctor is saying, sometimes you just can't bring yourself to the realization that there's something wrong with you, because it's like your mind would have been corrupted at that time. And then you begin to see everything to be normal. So maybe it is you who see me to have a problem, but I don't see myself to have a problem. And most of the clients that I handle or deal with, we have had to start from a place like that. So we usually say they are in a state of denial.
Yeah.
So the client thinks there's nothing wrong with him, but it's mom and dad who is running around with him to places for help. He doesn't see that he needs help. And so we realize that where we need to help the client is very far, and it's a lot of work, yes.
So I want to know how were you taking it on daily basis? How were you taking the drugs?
So during the latter part of my addiction, around 2012, I couldn't just stay a minute without the drugs. It would never leave my system at any point, because I didn't feel alive if there were no drugs in my system. And that is the stage we call the dependence stage. Everything I had to do, I had to depend on the drug. If I wanted to eat well, sleep well, I had to take in some drugs. So, you know, even if I needed the confidence to talk to someone or anything, I needed to take these drugs. So I couldn't just live without it. So if you are talking about daily basis, I would talk about momentary basis, not daily basis. Yes. Yes. So that's how it was for me. And then I finally got help. I don't know if you want to know about how the help came. And
very briefly, you can do that.
Yes. So I met a group of people who were once like me, who said, well, they shared their story. They said, we were once like you, and now we are doing well, we are in recovery and all that. They didn't look like me, so I was surprised, and I was curious.
How are you looking? So, were you having messy hair and those things?
Well, you know, if you are doing drugs, taking alcohol and smoking marijuana, and you know, you look very lanky and emaciated, right? And
your teeth will all be brown. And was your teeth brown and all that?
No, I hadn't gotten to that point.
Okay.
And you know, sometimes you would look so confused, miserable and frustrated most of the time.
Okay.
You know? So I met these people who said they were once like me. I didn't believe them, and so I was curious
because they were looking very handsome.
They were looking very handsome.
Okay.
So I got curious and got closer to them and asked them, how did you do it? And so they showed me. They showed me a way out, and I decided to give it a try, because I probably had tried a couple of things that didn't work, and I almost gave up. But when I met these guys, they reignited hope within me again, and that was when my recovery journey started.
So it means that, just to catch you, it means that as you see Walter sitting here handsomely, it means that some years back he wasn't looking this way. So anybody who is into drugs, illicit drugs, right, there is hope for you. You can always come back by joining groups or what is it?
Like doctor said, support system.
The support system. But those who don't have the support system, what do they do? Can they walk? Doctor, can they walk to any hospital for help?
Well, maybe not any hospital. I think there are some hospitals that are purposely meant for some of these mental health challenges. But of course, I mean, for the start, you can always walk to most facilities, and hopefully they will direct you appropriately. The thing is that it is a specialized area. So our colleagues in the mental health field.
Can they start with walking into any public health facility or any clinical or psychiatry units or psychology units in any health facility?
Yes, so typically, I mean, since we are speaking to a broad base of people, I'm sure some people first point of call may even be a CHIPS compound,
Yeah.
health center, clinic. So yes, they can always go there. It is expected and hoped that whoever mans such facilities will identify the problem and refer appropriately. And invariably, it will end up in a mental health facility where a psychiatrist or clinical psychologist may take the issue up and then follow it through and see to the final resolution of it. It takes a bit of time to get results out of this. It takes a bit of time. For what I have observed, quite a number of them, especially depending on what time or what stage they are in for their condition. It may really require a bit of time, patience, and a commitment of a lot of resources here and there.
Yeah.
So all of these would take a toll on individuals, okay, and their family, all of those. So that's how. But of course, there's always an opportunity to start from a primary healthcare
facility. So Walter, what's your level of education?
I have a master's degree.
Wow. Did you have it during the time of your addiction? Or?
So like I'm saying, it was a journey for me, you know, like everything in life. And so it was, I was actually a teaching assistant in the University of Ghana when everything escalated and blew up in my face. Like I couldn't really do anything for myself anymore. Okay. So I decided to get help, to try something else. And you see, one of the, even though I remember it now, one of the things that impeded the help for me was my intellectual property, because I thought I knew it all. You know, I had gone in front of psychologists who were professors and doctors, and they would usually say, well, I should know better, but I'm just thinking, I just got off drinking and smoking with someone who had your pedigree. You know, as a doctor too, I'm smoking and drinking with doctors and professors. So
it motivated you?
Or makes you think I am different, you know? So it was like, I knew it all. Nobody could tell me nothing. When I got in front of a counselor or a psychologist, I already knew what the first 2 or 3 statements they were going to make, even before they made it, you know. But until I got to that point where I realized, well, if you know it all, how come nothing is working for you? Because I had tried on my own to come out of it. That's when I decided to really listen to others and then take the step to get help for myself. And that is the point most addicts who really want the help are missing. You know, they think they know it all. I can do it this way, I can do it that way when I'm ready to stop. But you would need a professional and an expert like myself to give you the guidance, especially someone who has the experience like me to be able to help you come out of your predicament. Yes.
So you're an expert now, because I know you're an internationally certified addiction professional. That's interesting. Yeah. So we have a professional here who will help us stop the addiction. Do you have a sore throat or a dry cough? Don't let it slow you down. Reach for Lozati lozenges. Lozati brings fast, soothing relief with sweet and delicious flavors like honey, ginger, lemon, peppermint, orange, and the bold new cola. Are you watching your sugar? We've got you covered with sugar-free strawberry. I think this is it. This is the sugar-free strawberry propolis. It's perfect for people managing their sugar levels, whether you are talking all day like I'm talking now, or working outside, or need comfort on the go. Lozati is your reliable companion. It's available now in all pharmaceutical companies nationwide, and it's also, if you have, you want to take a wholesale to, you can go to Unicom Pharmacy across the nation. Lozati lozenges. That's it. So we'll go on a quick commercial break, and afterwards we will talk about Walter and his professionalism in addiction. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You are watching Consulting Room 5 with me, your host, Dr. Sue. We are with Walter Damien Aso, who was an addict of drugs and now has come out. He has a rehabilitation center and he's also a certified professional of addiction. I got it? Right. And also we have Dr. Frank Dodu, who Chief Superintendent, Dr. Frank Dodu. Chief, all correct, sir. I forgot to add it. So, who is the head of Public Health Department of Ghana Police Hospital. And then we are discussing illicit drugs and how it affects the human mentally and also the whole body of human. So Walter has mentioned that he is a certified professional of what? Addiction. So how did you get that and what does that entail? Okay. Is it because you were once an addictive person?
All right, so I got curious.
Okay.
You know, and after I was able to shake off my addiction or come out of it, I felt the need to fill that void. I mean, to help people who were like me and could have lost their lives to also come out of that predicament. And so that is what fueled my passion to get into the field of addiction. So I took some courses, international courses, because I already had a master's degree in education. So I decided to take some courses and then become a professional in that field. So that is what fueled my curiosity to become an internationally certified addiction professional.
Bravo.
Yes, thank you.
So, doctor, how does illicit drugs affect the human body as a whole?
All right. So like I stated earlier, illicit drugs in and of themselves may not be entirely harmful. It's not the case that everything about them is harmful. So it depends on what quantity or dose we are taking. It depends on how often we are taking it and for what purpose it's being taken. And all of this could also even be influenced by the routes by which it is administered. So some people may take it through ingestion, like swallowing. Others may take it through inhalation. And others may take it through injection, you know, into either the veins or the muscle. So all of these would determine what impact any of these illicit drugs may have on the human body. But that said, essentially depending on which drug you have taken, one part of the body or the other, or multiple parts will be affected. And then the duration for which it is taken. So you can look at it from head to toe. Any part of the body can be affected. The very common illicit drugs is usually maybe cocaine, cannabis, heroin. Yes, these ones. What actually happens for most of them is there is something we call the limbic organ or cells in the brain. And it's more like that section of the brain that rewards us. It rewards us in the sense that when you activate it, it gives you a sense of fulfillment, a sense of motivation, a sense of excitement. So that is what most of these drugs work on. And then when it activates and triggers its function, it gives us that fulfillment. But bear in mind that it is artificially induced. So
temporary.
It works, yes, it wears off after some time. And that is what, and the way it works, so it has this addictive effect. So that what I take today, if I'm starting what I take today and is able to bring about that motivation, tomorrow I'll take the same quantity and I'll be able to have that motivation, in which case I'll have to double.
Was it happening to you?
Yes, that's what I meant by it was progressive.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So the brain is like a center, an epicenter for activity for most of these illicit drugs. Then it can also affect your immune system generally. Generally, the immune system can all be affected. and it can going from the head downwards. It can affect all the other organs, the heart, mouth, throat, lungs. I told you that some people take by inhalation.
Yeah.
So tobacco can be an illicit drug. Okay, so yes, it can affect your lungs. And then those who are taken by injection into the veins or the muscles,
directly.
it can affect directly, yes. And those ones, the impact is swifter. So it can affect even starting from where the injection mark is. It can induce excessive inflammatory reactions at the injection site, and then goes into any of the target organs in the body to affect them. It can affect your heart, in which case that you develop heart attack. You can develop weak heart muscles. Okay, it can affect the liver. So that some people, you see that their liver is damaged, and it's not always because of any infection, but some of these illicit drugs. It can go ahead to affect your kidney as well. Then you're having challenges with kidney failures. So invariably, every part of the body can be affected.
It looks like.
Yes. All the
Every part
organs
of the
can be
body.
affected.
At what point can someone go mad?
So it's only, my threshold may be different from another person's threshold, but it's just a matter of how. So even at the time that I started, what was my immunity levels, so that I could ward off some of the effect. So there are so many factors that will come into play to affect when maybe madness will set in for any particular person. But essentially, it's more of how much of the drug will affect the brain cells and leading to brain damage and all of that, of course, and then which part of the brain is affected. So that for some parts, you may rather suffer a stroke or you may rather have a seizure. And another part, the cognitive function is all destroyed. And then you're having challenges with your ability to think right. And that's what will be latently called what's madness. And all of those one concept.
So Walter, did you do anything that you regret, doing during the time of your addiction?
Well, that was a long time ago, and of course a lot of things, because if you are somebody who is addicted, you see, we may be missing the point of discussion if we don't center it or ground it on addiction, because the drug itself may not be a problem until you are addicted to it, right? So once I became addicted, and usually for clients that I have treated, they are not bad persons, but because of their addiction, they have to steal, they have to lie, So I was in that position in the past, They have to lie to get money. You see, somebody will just walk up to you on the street and say, oh, I'm from Kumasi, I came to visit my uncle in Accra. When I came, the premises was locked. Now I'm stranded, I don't have money to go back. He's going to the ghetto to smoke with that,
At any point?
Yes, at all cost, he wants to get the money to go and smoke drugs, you see. And it's funny how what people will do just to get money to use for the drugs. The extent to which people will go to be able to do that.
So were you stealing your parents' money at that point? Yes.
Of course.
That was even the easiest way.
Yes, of course. So, I was lucky to be working at the time. So most of the money I had was just
going into drugs.
Addiction. I know people who, if you give them food instead of money, because they are going to use the money to smoke, you take the food to the ghetto and exchange it for the drugs.
Money? Or for the drugs?
They'll exchange it directly for the drugs. So anything that a person can lay their hands on that is of value or has just any worth, they can go to the ghetto and exchange it for drugs. So we know pushers, right? Those who sell the drugs, the cocaine and the heroin. And they are very wealthy, they are rich, they've built mansions out of the things that people bring to them and the money that they buy, especially with cocaine. Cocaine is the most expensive on the list of illicit drugs, right? So these pushers are making so much money. People I know people who have stolen polytanks and given them to pushers for drugs, roofing sheets, anything from
anything they
so
just
these
land their
pushers
hands
are
on.
driving cars and they are putting up mansions because of the money they get from
destroying yourself to
destroying
make
yourself
somebody
and
rich.
Everything is going in there, So I know what the Narcotics Control Commission is doing is that, you see, now they have stopped going after the pushers because they are the barons. You won't even know. The ones they will be capturing on the street are the ones who are buying marijuana, 5 CD or 10 CD. They are the ones you are arresting and putting in jail, whilst the barons who are supplying most of the drugs, you are not getting them. So now Narcotics Control Commission is skewed more towards dealing with demand reduction rather than supply reduction. So if I educate you on the harms and dangers of drugs and it makes sense and you decide to stop using, then the pusher becomes redundant. You are not going to buy the drug.
Exactly.
If you don't buy, he can't sell.
Yeah,
So
that's a good way.
That is a good tactic that Narcotics Control Commission is doing now. Because the person who is buying marijuana 5 CD, 10 CD is the one you have arrested.
No, you just waste your...
When the baron is somewhere you don't know,
main
and the one
person is there.
The main person is there, is the one enjoying the money. So that is what it is.
So some of your friends, your colleagues who were smoking at that time, are they still in there?
Most of them. Just a few has survived like me. Most of them are dead. Some are in jail.
So most of them are dead. So doctor, what are the consequences of taking drugs, illegal drugs?
All right, so there are multiple consequences. Apart from having issues with law enforcement, you're also going to have
you people.
Issues. Yes. We people who keep the community safe. So apart from us, you're also going to have issues with your personal finances. Then of course your health. Okay, so everybody should just be mindful of this. Of course, I mean, for my background, I'll talk more of the health and maybe the security or law enforcement.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, and the health, we mentioned some of them already. And my brother Walter did a very good job by trying to throw more light on the addiction. Like we said, illicit drugs in it of themselves may not be harmful to us, but then when you get addicted, then you're having more cravings. It gets to a point where if you don't have it, then you're having challenges. So addiction is the main thing here that we want to mention and we can't overemphasize. And as I mentioned earlier, every part of the body is involved, could be involved. Okay, so sometimes you go to hospital and everybody is thinking that our problem can easily be diagnosed by the typical laboratory investigations that we do, which may be pointing to an infectious condition, but it's not always infectious.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a result of some of these that we are taking. That's because of stigma. People will typically not declare. Okay, so they sit before you in the consulting room and they will never tell you that this is what they do, except you are very vigilant and then you pick some of these marks on their skin from who are injecting. But if they are inhaling or ingesting, you may not immediately be able to tell that this is what is causing any of their conditions for which they come before you. Imagine the prevalence of hypertension currently in the country, and some of it is as a result of illicit drug use. A lot of this indiscipline issues that we have to deal with, a lot of road traffic accidents that we have to tackle. Some of it is as a result of illicit drug use.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a huge issue on our hands, because there is also the commercial aspect of it. There are people who trade or apply their trade in all of some of these illicit drugs, and it becomes a very huge challenge for us as a nation, as a national security issue for us to deal with, because it gets to a point where you can't even explain people's actions. Okay, people get so emboldened, depending on how much of the drug they've taken, they get so emboldened such that when you institute your punitive measures, they don't seem to even conform or they don't comply, because they are high there. You see, they are so high there that whatever you do, it doesn't really move them. And it can be really dangerous for us as a society. And so much as we're saying this, one of the other things that I want to mention, I think I alluded to initially, was the discrimination. Because the discrimination attached to this sometimes doesn't afford us the opportunity to open up.
The stigma and discrimination, right?
The stigma and discrimination. So it doesn't afford us the opportunity for victims to open up,
yeah,
to access help. And that is a big issue. I mean, it's good to know that interventions are in place. Now, the mental health authority is a bit, should I say, a bit more pronounced in their responses to some of these. In the past, you couldn't see so much intervention from them. But I think of late, they are also doing their best. I'm sure they will need more resources to be able to assist us as a people to combat this canker all around us. It's a big issue.
Yeah.
So
mental health authority, they are doing well.
Yeah, they are. But I'm sure they will need more resources. Because the task is huge.
Yeah. So, Doctor, Walter has a rehab center. Where is it at? Agbogba, right?
Yes, it's Iris Place.
Iris Place.
Around Wisconsin University.
So, can people just go to a rehab center for help or to seek for help, Doctor?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, if you are a rehab center worth your salt, usually you will have professionals that will be able to receive you. You don't need to have been referred from a primary health care facility per se. Once they come in there, that means there's a willingness to get help, of course. Or if they come in with other support system, that means there's a desire to get support. And so I'm sure it should be possible for. Unfortunately, I think there are not so many rehab centers.
Yeah,
that I'm aware of, and sometimes financial constraints is also part of it. I'm not sure whether there is even a very vibrant public health rehab center. Maybe there was one at Ankafo and Pantine, Accra Psychiatry, but I'm not too sure. Maybe Walter may know since it's in that food.
Yes. So definitely, the rehab centers. There's one at the public ones are the ones at Pantine and Accra Psychiatric. So they have a specialized psychiatric unit to treat the mental disorders, and then they have a rehabilitation center specifically for addiction problems. And there's also House of St. Francis, located in Ashaiman, which is a Catholic facility. Yes, where I am the manager of the place.
Yeah, the manager of House of St. Francis, and also the manager of your...
The Iris Place is a private rehab.
Okay.
Yes.
But what do they do there?
It's a rehab. We take people through rehabilitation. So we give them the confinement, the residence, the medical treatment that they need to stay away from drugs. And the rehabilitation, we call it treatment.
Okay.
So when they come, the first thing, like doctor was saying, the withdrawal, we take care of the withdrawal. So we start with medical. We flush the drugs out of their system,
right?
Before we keep them for between 3 to 6 months for psychotherapy.
That would be expensive.
Yes, it is. Rehabilitation is really expensive. But because House of St. Francis is a Catholic rehab facility, our rates are subsidized, and we have a few benevolent people contributing from time to time. And even though we are under-resourced, we are still doing a great job out there. Currently, we have about almost 90 clients at House of St. Francis.
Wow. Your place, how many are they too?
Yeah, they are about 15 now at a private place.
Okay.
Yes. So
you're doing well. Do you have some donors or sponsors taking care of you?
We are actually looking for donors, because like you are saying,
did you go through a rehab center?
I did.
Where?
That was House of St. Francis.
Oh, okay. So you are an alumnus.
I'm an alumni.
Alumni, right?
Say so. Yes.
An alumni.
So, like you are saying, it's really expensive
to
keep somebody in the same space for as long as 6 months. You feed them, you give them 3 square meals a day for 6 months. You take care of their medications, their utilities, their rent and all that.
Are there times that some of them go violent?
Oh, there are. Keeping men at the same place, you know, some of them would definitely be aggressive sometimes, but the training we have as a rehab managers and all that, we are able to manage.
Have you had any instance where you have been violated?
Well, not really. Not really. Maybe verbal abuse or something is there, but you know, we have people working, and when the client is aggressive, sometimes you might want to restrain them for the time that they are aggressive.
So do you tell them that you were once like them? Do they take you as a motivator, looking up to you?
For me, that's the best thing that happened to me. And that is one of the reasons why I'm doing this. Because if doctor is speaking to them, if you are talking to them, at the back of their mind,
not been there
at the back of their mind, they are saying, you don't really understand how I feel.
You don't
but if I am talking to them, they say, this is the one speaking my language. They can really identify with me more than with anybody.
Can relate.
Yes, with anybody else.
Yeah,
you know.
I get it.
So we say the therapeutic community or the therapeutic value of one addict reaching out to another is without parallel. So when I talk to them, the language is different.
It's without parallel, so yes. it's intertwined.
Yes,
I like that.
It cannot be compromised.
I like that. Yeah.
Yes. So that if I am speaking to them, they are like, this is the one speaking my language. They can relate to me better, and they would rather want to listen to me than anybody else. Yes.
Wow. Doctor, so what are the mental or social, as a public health expert, what are the social vices that people may be exposed to when they take illegal drugs?
All right. So they are called what pushers. Usually you find them in ghettos. And what happens is that because of the addiction to the drugs and how it works on them, there's a lot of aggression with some of them, if not all of them. There's a lot of aggression. And that can really lead to lawless activities here and there. Sometimes you see them manifest. And then because of the financial implications of their actions, it puts them in a very precarious situation, such that they don't have money. They don't have, so when they are even sick, they are unable to fend for themselves. They don't get enough money to buy food.
Yeah.
You know, and because of the cravings too, then they will need the food. So it will cause them to go and steal, rob at all costs.
Yeah.
And it gets to a point really they don't care whether they get harmed or not, because they say something must kill a man. So whether the hunger will kill them or the drug will kill them. So they will go all out and then look for whatever they want. And then yes, because of the impact on their finances too, then they are unable to lead a very responsible homes. If they are breadwinners, definitely they don't become good role models for anybody in society. So it's all of this work together to put us in a very difficult situation, because as a society we need to function. We need a very functional and viable society, and these people are with us, and they have a role to play for the good of the nation, for the economic growth. So we will have to then acknowledge that they exist and look for ways and means by which we will be able to help them. But as for the social vices, there are a lot.
A lot of them.
Yes. So
yeah.
The activities.
Walter.
Yes.
You have been there before, yeah? And you saw the things that you never wished you did. Some of them you regret. You look back and you were like, why did I even do this?
Yeah.
Just because you were on drugs. So people who are on drugs, somebody may also have a sister, a brother, a friend. What do you tell the general public?
Okay. So what I've noticed over the years is that sometimes people are really confused about this situation. They don't even know where to start from. They don't know who to talk to. But I want to encourage them and make them understand that it is like any other public health issue.
Yeah.
It is like somebody having malaria. It is like somebody having diabetes. The way you know where to go if someone is sick It's the same way professionally we know how to treat someone if they have been afflicted with the disease of addiction. So you might want to speak to an expert like myself. You might want to, if you go to the hospitals, now they have been educated to redirect people with addiction problems to rehabilitation centers. So don't be confused, seek for help, and we are always here to help you. So I have seen a lot of clients, over thousands of them, pass through my tutelage and my, treatment, and they are doing well. The greater number of them, they are doing well. So we have legions of people in recovery all over the world in Ghana who are now reintegrated back into society and reunited with their families because they have taken that bold step, that bold initiative to say, look, I need help, and this is the right place to get it, and this is the right person to talk to. So don't be confused, and there is hope for you.
There is hope for you. This show, or Consulting Room 5, is brought to you by Unicom Chemist. We have here AccuCheck, and Unicom Chemist has installed the best glucometer. This is AccuCheck. It's a glucometer to check your sugar level. So you can purchase it at any Unicom pharmacy. It's important. We are doing health show, and it's important that you check your sugar level. If you are an adult, every adult needs to check the sugar level at a point in time. So you get your AccuCheck, and this could be found in any Unicom pharmacy for wholesale and retail. You see my bouncy hair. Walter, is it nice? Very beautiful. Yes. Yeah, so contact Cuts and Bouncy Salon on 027 5689 261. They are located at Bauleshi Road, East Legon. Instagram and TikTok handles, we have cuts_and_bouncy_salon. So get one for your wife. You have a wife, right? Yeah, get one for your wife. It's very nice. You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And for your tasty foods, for all occasions, you know, some of us are very busy. You can get food in packs and then keep them and take them through the day or the week, because we are very, very busy now. Corporate workers, get your foods. If you are organizing a birthday party, contact Gigi Kitchen on 0244 946040 and 055 88 58810, or on the gigiskitchen.gh on all the social media platforms. Get your food. Their food is very, very tasty and delicious. We are discussing effects of illicit drugs on our mental health, right? And how we can rehab, or how we can shape ourselves if we are into drugs. And we have Dr. Frank Dodu, who is a public health expert or physician and the head of Department of Public Health at the police hospital. He is chief inspector, or chief superintendent, sorry, Chief Superintendent Dr. Frank Dodu. Chief, please don't arrest me. Pardon me for that. Chief Superintendent. And then Walter Damien Asson, who is also a professional and a manager of a rehab center. Thank you for watching us. There is always hope for people who are into drugs. And if you haven't started, please don't start. It is addictive. Don't start, because you might regret starting. Don't even start smoking, because there are a lot of health implications that you may encounter. Have me next week and stay safe. Bye.